And what's going on, Crowdsourcing? I actually did not plan to start the show with the sound effect. I forgot to turn it off. I was messing around with it beforehand. And I don't know. Maybe that's a new show intro that totally happened by accident. It was funny because as soon as I heard that in my ears, I was like, well, I better just go with it. So I don't know. I don't know how it sounded over on your end, but that was totally non-planned and non-intentional. But that's what this show is all about tonight. Pure prime time, all the silliness in a totally unstructured format, reselling questions, non-reselling questions, whatever you want for sure. What's going on? We've got Triple V in the house. Go check out Triple V's newest video on brooches. I told her today, I can't believe I was working out on the treadmill watching a brooches video. This is what I do now with my time. But it was a great video. And I also checked out Jessie Shop's video as well. Where is she? There's Jessie Shop's right there, opening presents from her many fans from across the world. Go check out Jessie Shop's for sure. She's awesome. We've got Travis in the house. Travis, you just missed a crazy voice intro that I did totally by accident. We've got Eric Hughes in the house. So that's actually what Eric looks like. I can verify that. His hair is covering his face, kind of like the Undertaker on on wrestling, kind of. But but I did meet up with him this weekend. I had a great time. Also met up with his wife Tracy. They're from 1987 vintage. Also met up with Noelle Griffith, Farm Girl Scavenger. Was a ton of fun. Emily Conway was there as well. We went to an estate sale video together. We did an estate sale vid. It was a lot of fun. And Mr. Crisp himself was also there. Chris from Crispy Toys and Treasures. Great YouTube channels. And we just had an absolute blast. So I have great film, great video from it. And that will be coming. So stay tuned for that in the future. So let's see who else we got here. We've got Hamlet Para from New Jersey. Now, I don't know if the word Hamlet actually stands for Hamlet, New Jersey, or there's also a Hazlitt, New Jersey. But for those of you who don't know, I used to live a large part of my life in New Jersey, growing up from, say, the third grade until college. I lived in Freehold, New Jersey, Monmouth County, for anyone here who knows the area. So we've got Lori here, Carol Queen in the house from Chichingathon fame. She did very well in our last Chichingathon. Heather here from Backpack Treasures. Thanks for coming by, Heather. What's going on? Another Hamlet, LD Hamlet. We got the whole Hamlet family represented here. Mike Kretzer, what's going on, Mike? Thanks for coming in. Give you a little Darth Vader, Mike, because Mike always goes crazy when he sees me, so I have to say, thank you very much, Mike, for the warm welcomes you always provide. You will make a very good subject for the dark side, Mike. So thank you very much, Mike. He's an awesome guy. Thanks so much for coming by and all of your support. And the one and only Jeff Norton from Storage Locker and Storage Unit fame. If you didn't check out my videos featuring Jeff, definitely go and check those out. They were a lot of fun, a blast to do for sure. Thank you very much, Nicholas, for the compliment on the Young Avengers sale. Yes, that was a lot of fun. We had a $300 comic book sale today. So stay tuned for that, because I'm going to do another a video. In fact, I'm actually currently filming it. Want to thank everyone, by the way, who watched the new series that I came up with and put out yesterday called A Deeper Dive, in which I take a deeper dive into something that sold for good money. And I go over background about it. I show the item physically, like not just on the screen from a what sold video. I felt that would be helpful because, like Jessie Shops was mentioning, she never saw the inside of a Mad magazine before. And I figured that there's people I talk about all the time, people probably never seen it. So I thought it'd be cool to show people that and show people the trifold in the back, that cool scene. If you haven't seen that, check that out. And then also provide people with some history about the item. And comps about the item, things that could help you if you see it in the field in terms of different ways to list it, different ways to price things. and also some shipping tips because people like the shipping tip stuff. So I really tried to integrate a lot of the things that I tend to do on separate videos all into one, but really focus just on one subject. And the funny thing about it is that that was a video that I actually released early to members. For those of you wondering, I release the educational types of videos that I do early for members. Those I don't usually premiere. The ones that I premiere tend to be ones where I went sourcing somewhere. And then, of course, live shows like this, there's no way to do those early. That wouldn't make any sense. So, I saw how many people had checked it out early, which was the normal amount. And then I published it at 5 p.m. And initially, now I don't normally publish the videos 5 p.m. I normally publish them around 9. Initially, when it came out, it was doing horrible, horrible. It tells you on YouTube like how well your video is doing out of your last 10. And initially it was 9. And I was like, really? I can't believe this. I said, I really thought that this was, but you never know. As a creator, you always think that what you did was good, but it's really what how the audience perceives it. And the bottom line is that if the audience doesn't like it and they're not responding to it, then something's wrong. So I checked in each hour. Next hour it went up to 8. Next hour it went up to 7, and all of a sudden it shot up to 3, and then it went to 2. The only thing it's not beating is the Mr. Buys a Lot initial video, which had 16,000 views already. So I'm fine with that being number 2. And the reception on it was awesome. I have so many great comments on it. I appreciate everyone here for making those nice comments and compliments. A lot of people said they wanted more. So I am going to try to film some other ones, and we'll see how it does. I once did what I thought, and this is a good example of what I'm talking about as a creator. I once did what I thought was a cool video called eBay Wars. I don't know how many of you people remember that, but it was a video reviewing buyers and sellers going at it in the feedback session. And I thought it was funny. And I thought it was entertaining. And granted, the people who watched it liked it, but there just weren't enough people who looked at it. So, it's not, you got to remember when you're creating content that you've got to really try to be as efficient as possible with your time, because it takes a lot of time to create the content. And so you want to make sure people are going to watch it when you put it out. So it's always a constant challenge and trying to adapt to things. Yeah, Marjorie remembers that one. Thanks. Yeah, hit that like button for sure. Only 7 likes. Come on. We got 57 watching. Hit that thumbs up button. We got Nanette in the house, who's also from Cuse Nation. Welcome, Nanette from Syracuse Nation. Always love the Syracuse fans. We got lots of people from the Syracuse area who are in reselling, believe it or not. Even though we have a relatively small city, we do have a lot of people here. So yes, I figured, Mike, that you were already on the dark side for sure. What's up, Orty Kelleher? I love seeing new names in the house I haven't seen before. I have a very good familiarity with all of you. You're all part of the Primetime family. So thanks so much for coming by. Got Stony Creek Pickers and Owls. What's up, Stony Creek? Longtime Primetimer. So listen, this show, like I said, is an informal show. If you have questions for me, reselling or non-reselling, put them down and I will get to them and answer them as I can. And I also want to, what's up? We got Dave, Midwest Picker Now. Dave, when are you going to open your eBay store again? Because I've been wanting to promote your store in my Facebook group. For those who aren't members, come by to Facebook Reselling Resource Center. And I do this for all members. I'll promote your store there. And that usually helps to generate people some sales because you get pinned to the top of the announcement section. And we have 27,500 members in there. So it does help a lot of people out. But I wanted to talk to you, in between, like any questions that might come in. I want to talk to you about some things that are kind of changing with the channel. We already talked about something like a new type of show idea. I'm always coming up with new ideas, trying to keep things fresh. So the Deeper Dive series is something that I think could help, advance the channel some more. So we'll be working on some more of that. I was wondering where Krista was. I hadn't seen her lately, and she has not been encouraging me with tears of laughter. So I've had to look elsewhere for inspiration. So I'm glad that Krista's back, because as Mrs. Primetime knows, I really thrive on people laughing at my jokes. So, I need some more people laughing at the jokes. I've got Susan. Susan's got me covered there a little bit. And Jesse Shops. Speaking of Susan, I always got to ring the bell when I think of Susan. So thank you so much. Mad Magazine. That's Joe. I love Mad Magazine. I have to call my brother. Yeah, it's a funny thing about the Mad Magazine video. I had so many people look at it and one say, which is what I thought, I see Mad Magazines, I overlook them, and I don't really pay attention to them. Now I will. And two, I think I have Mad Magazine somewhere, people say, and I got to go dig them out, and now I got to see if I could list them. So for sure, we got 69 people watching. As much as I like that, I love to get it to over 100 tonight to continue pure primetime shows. Last time we did that. Hopefully we can do that tonight as well. So I'll be looking at, thank you so much, Travis. I know Travis likes any of the stuff that's about magazines and comic books. So I do have another deeper dive series. Well, I shouldn't say series, but another deeper dive entry in the works. I started filming it today, and I'm going to start filming some more of it after the show tonight. So we'll see what's going on and see what happens with that one and how well people like it. Thanks, Sandy. Sandy with an I. I've learned that. So I will try not to. Oh, and we've got Angie from Dayton Valley Deals. Please go subscribe to Angie. I did so today. Sent her a little surprise that I subscribed to her. So in fact, let me see if I can make Angie a moderator of the channel here. Let's see here. So it's an extra special day for you. And how do I not have Triple V as a moderator? That's crazy. Triple V has just become a moderator. Congratulations, Triple V, part of the family. And Angie from Dayton Valley Deals as well, add as a moderator. And going to add, let's see, 1987 Ventures as well. Let's see, who else can we add here? And the one and only, I just saw that he came in here, so I didn't get a chance to flash him up on the screen, but I got to throw in the one and only Joey Bada Bing popping into the chat. So put him in as a moderator as well. So listen, I don't have a formal moderator. Like, when you go into a live show and there's a one moderator that greets everyone and says, hello, how you doing? I don't have that. I've never had that. I'm not saying anything bad about channels that do have that. I just never had to set it up that way, and I just kind of let it be loose. So if you have a wrench and you're a moderator on a channel, what that means is that basically, you've been around the channel for a while, and what you could do is if you see someone coming in and doing something, inappropriate, please feel free to take action and remove the comment or time the person out, because I can't always see everything. So that's how you help keep the channel safe and help keep the chats safe, because no one wants to be in a chat where there's all sorts of bad stuff going on. So anyway, so what's up, Metal Detecting with CZ Kid? I love anyone that has the name Metal Detecting, because some of the earliest videos I watched on YouTube were metal detecting ones, and metal detecting is a form of treasure hunting. It's a hobby of mine that I love. I haven't gotten to do it in a while, but that's just my own fault. I just need to prioritize it more. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I love those YouTube channels for metal detecting. That's one of the things that got me into doing YouTube videos, actually, was the metal detecting videos. There he is, Joey Bada Bing. What's going on, Joey? Let's go. I don't need a I don't need a voice, even though I have a voice machine. I don't need one to be loud. I was telling someone, my channel is a loud channel. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. That's just how it is. That's how it always has been. I'm just generally loud. No, for those of you now, like Eric Hughes and Crispy from 1987 Ventures, several of you who have met me in person could tell my loudness matches my size. If you don't know, I'm 6'6", 250 pounds. So it would be weird if I had like a very mousy voice and talked like this on my videos, kind of like Bob Ross, and painted happy little trees and said, "Don't worry about that return you just got. It's not a mistake. It's just a happy little accident, folks." Like, I can't do that. That's not going to be me. That's absolutely just not going to be me. So I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. So if it's not, that's totally fine. But like, even my intro, like I've been bringing back the old intro a little bit more. the one that's intense with the jungle music and everything. I keep sneaking that in there every once in a while. So some people don't like it because it's loud, and that's why I took it off of a lot of the videos. And I just kind of sprinkle it in here and there for people who are nostalgic for it. So right. And I was talking about this with Tracy when we had lunch at Dinosaur Barbecue from 1987 Ventures. She said, "Hey, we like the loud." So I said, "Awesome." I said, "All right, thanks. I'll keep it up." Oh boy, we got the one and the only Mr. Bizelot. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat for a case of Mountain Dew. You know, they just came out with a new Mountain Dew flavor. I don't have it. I was trying to get it yesterday. I thought I got it. They were dropping a new flavor called hot and flaming or flaming Mountain Dew. It basically combines the taste of flaming hot Cheetos with dew, which I don't know how it would taste. I was actually trying to buy it for reselling purposes. You're allowed to buy a maximum of 2. I got as far as the checkout screen, and then it just kept crashing. So I could not. I could not get it. I tried, but and I tried a little bit late. I was they didn't say when they were going to do the release, so I just kept refreshing like from the morning, and then I think they did it at like noon, and I started at 12:15, and with those drops by that point, it's just too late. I think it might be Jessica, because they do have satellite kind of franchises out. So there might be one in Baltimore that's the same one. I don't know. So I have to look. I'm not sure. I'm familiar with most of them. I don't remember it being a Baltimore one. But yeah, definitely check out Mr. Bizelot and my series of videos. I actually just mentioned it. So Brian, who's Mr. Bizelot, the video that we did together, that first one, is already up to 16,000 views. So a lot of people have seen that. And I hope a lot of people are going over to Mr. Bizelot's auctions. There's a lot of great auctions. I've done well on several auctions that I've gone to. I've always been happy with what I've received from it. So I'm not just saying that because of the super chat. That's really true in terms of the stuff that I've gotten. So definitely go check it out. I haven't had a chance to stop by much this week because just my schedule's just been crazy with work. But whenever I could stop by there during the day, I definitely try to pop in and have it on in the background. Which reminds me, and if Crispy's watching, he knows what I'm talking about. And Jeff too, Jeff Norton. We have a local auction place, and you got to come pick it up locally. So if you're watching it like from another state or something, it's not going to help you because they don't ship. But I just love kind of having it on the background sometimes, like while I'm working. Like today, I was just editing listings and just prices and stuff, and just having it on the background and just watching some of the lots come up, and just learning like some of the phraseology for some of the items that are presented is helpful. Like the learning just never stops. It never stops, which gets me to some feedback that I would like from the chat. And remember, put your questions in. I haven't seen any yet. If you have any questions or are free to ask, whether this is basically a personal informal hangout. So whether you want to ask a reselling question or you want to ask a non-reselling question, it's totally fine. Whatever you would like to do. So let's see. I've got Susan's I bought this from Susan at Vintage Vagabond Vens at her eBay store. So I love this thing. I love gator stuff. So this gator serves as a cup, but you turn it upside down and he's just like, he's so cool. Look at him. He just kind of sits as like a little display. So I love pouring dew shots in it. So we're going to pour a little dew shot right now. And we're gonna have some of that. Let's see how many of these I do tonight. Where else you could go and see dew shots, folks. So anyway, all right. So one of the things that's changing with the channel, which gets to my question, is normally on a night like tonight, I would have an interview. But that's why this is called Pure Primetime, because it's just me. I've been doing interviews on YouTube for 3 years, pretty much. I kind of picked up from Wade's ventures. Wade was doing them for a while. And then he stopped and started shifting more into his auctions and his storage unit purchases. And then I kind of like picked up the gauntlet from there. And I pretty much interviewed almost everybody that I wanted to interview. There are a few people I couldn't get on, but the vast majority of people I was able to get on, which is challenging because it's challenging to coordinate all the schedules and get everyone there on time. And the interviews, they do require a lot of work to do them properly, at least, well, I should say properly, but for me, like my standard of properly, which is like I want to be prepared and I want to have clips ready. If there's clips available, I want to have gone through their YouTube channel if they have one, and I want to be able to, prepare questions ahead of time. So, a lot of those were fun to do, but the problem with them was that if they were very niche, that like, let's say there was one on coins that I did, there were certain people that just were not going to come into it because they don't like coins and they don't want to learn about coins. And same thing with comics, some people just not interested in it and they don't want to come and watch a video that's about someone who does comic books. Same thing with jewelry. So, while I find it was helpful and I made a lot of connections over the years, after 3 years, I kind of want to move on to a different type of show idea. So that kind of led into the pure primetime. We've got the Chingathon. We've got the Buy It Now-a-thon that I did with Susan. That seemed to have worked out. So I'm continuing that. And we'll continue this pure primetime as long as we get at least 100 people. And we're kind of close. We're at like 91, 92. So as long as we cross that, I'll keep going on because that would signal interest in it to me. But I do have basically an open spot next week. And I have not yet completely figured out what to do in that open spot. What's up, Beth? We got Beth from Pickin' Georgia Peaches is in the house, and Steph is here too. Thanks, Steph, for coming by. Appreciate it. I'll get to some other comments. Thank you. I'm glad you like the interview. And listen, if you haven't seen all the interviews, like Chris from Crispy Toys and Treasures is here. I interviewed him, did a show on Lego. Notice I said Lego, not Legos. And it's not to say that I'm never going to do interviews again. I will do some, but it's not going to be like a standard thing all the time. I'll still do the Don and Don shows. We alternate every month with that. But what I was thinking of is, because I want to have more shows with like more general appeal. So like this show, this kind of private show, I just want to have because I just feel during the interviews, the other problem with it is that I can't really connect with the audience as well. The questions are more going to be geared towards the presenter. Yeah, I could flash a question on the screen, but it takes away from, my ability to directly interact with you, which I like to do. Thank you, Gator Do Shots. Yes, exactly. Why did I get into reselling? Okay, I'll get to that question in just a moment. That's an awesome question. So, but real briefly, and then I'll look to see any comments you could put in the chat. What I would like to do, I'm not set on it, so don't hold me to it. But what I'm thinking is that I think I'm missing a show that is more geared towards directly helping the people who watch. And that could take many forms. There's, for example, some people who will do store reviews. Now, normally people will charge for store reviews or do store reviews for a fee for like in exchange for membership or something like that. But if I do one like that, I will probably just do it on like the main channel. I would like to find some way to kind of integrate like a member perk into it somehow. I'm not sure exactly how to do that quite yet. But here's another thing that I want to tell you. And I kind of was thinking about this when I was talking to 1987 Ventures, because, we were talking and same thing when I was talking to Noelle Griffith, Farm Girl Scavenger. And when I've talked to so many people like Chris from Crispy Toys and Treasures, and, when I watch other people's YouTube videos, there's so many people out there. I mean, I would say everybody out there, every single person out here who's watching, whether you have a YouTube channel or not, you all have specialized knowledge in something. I don't care what it is. It could be that, just randomly bring this up, it could be that you watched all of the Joy of Painting episodes and you know everything about Bob Ross. It could be that you're a huge mermaid fan like myself, but maybe you just know like a ton about mermaids, or maybe you're like the biggest Batman fan. It doesn't even have to be collectibles. Maybe you're just like awesome in like your knowledge of shipping, or your knowledge of computers and how computers work and coding and things like that. my point is that everyone here has like some secret knowledge, has some secret tips or some special tips. And I'm thinking it would be kind of cool to have a show where we kind of crowdsource it and have these basically this exchange of secret tips. Could almost call it like the secret tipathon or something like that. I always like to put a thon at the end of everything. It helps to get people a little bit more excited. So maybe something like that, even combined with like a possible store review, and then maybe something combined with maybe talking directly with somebody who is struggling. Maybe someone's having slow sales. It might not be that they need a store review. Maybe they're just having some problems like motivation wise and they need some help with that. So I'm not sure exactly how to set that up, but I'm thinking something. I'm just kind of taking you through my thought process. I'd like it to be a different type of show though. I don't want it to be, I like my shows to be different. I don't want them to be the same type of show that you could see anywhere else, like the Cha-Ching-a-thon or like the thrift battles or the buy it now-a-thon. I like there to be a unique aspect or element to it. So, you know, even if it's maybe something that combines all those elements into one show and you don't really know where you're going to go with it, maybe that could be interesting. I mean, we could trial one out next week and kind of see how it goes and make it like an evolving concept or something. Let me know your thoughts. I really want, we need 3 more to keep up the pure primetime show. Listen, I'm not one of these channels, despite how many subscribers that I have, that I could just go on and there's going to automatically be 400 people there or something. So it really means a lot. Whoever comes by, that's why I know so many of you, like on a personal basis. I know your first names linked up to your, you know, whatever your user handle is and everything. So I feel like I have developed a close relationship with the people who watch. 2 more, I need 2 more. Why did I get into reselling? I got into reselling because I love collecting. I love the hunt. I love the thrill of the hunt. And then I love learning, you know, and I love selling. I love making the money. So if you go to, one of the things I changed about my, on my YouTube channel this year, if you go to it on the top, you'll see that it says discover, learn, resell. And that's what I want the theme of the show to be is that I want it to be of the shows. I want that to be the theme of the channel. You know, we're teaching about discovery, all sorts of hunting tips, all sorts of educational tips, like the video I put out last night, and then talking about, of course, selling, because everyone, you know, wants to make some side money. So, you know, I've told the story many times. I started reselling when I was a kid, going to Englishtown auction in New Jersey, speaking of New Jersey, and selling extra comic books from my comic book collection. They weren't ones I purchased to resell, but, you know, we just wound up selling some extras there, and I had a lot of fun setting up. As my first experience was a flea market. And then when I started over 20 years ago was when eBay first came out, and I was doing it to make extra money in graduate school. When I was going to Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, they had a big place called the Swap Shop. So me and Mrs. Primetime would go out there every week. We didn't have phones. We didn't have apps. We just learned based on watching and, you know, TV shows that came out at the time about, you know, auction items and, you know, like Storage Wars and Antiques Roadshow and all that kind of stuff, and trial and error. Made a lot of mistakes, but then also we remembered the things that we got that sold, and that's how we developed an eye for stuff. And to this day, Miss Primetime and I still go outsourcing together and have a lot of fun doing it. So that's why I got into it, and it's a really big passion of mine. I love it. You cannot work full time like 100 people. That means we could do another pure Primetime. Awesome, that's cool. Thank you so much for hitting 100 viewers. Thank you so much. Awesome. So, yeah. So, random question here. How do I change my name on YouTube to my eBay name? Now I know the reverse of that question. You might want to do it. Well, probably, I guess you don't want to do it the reverse way, but you can change your eBay name. I know that every 30 days. That is something you could do. Your YouTube handle name, I am not sure about that, Steph, because I never changed it. I kept it the same way. I'm not sure what the rule is on that. How can you change your YouTube account name? Let me just say, can you change YouTube account name? Because if so, yeah, it looks like it's this simple stuff. It says in the mobile app, tap your profile picture, tap your channel, tap edit channel, enter your updated name, and tap OK. So I'm going to copy that and put that right into the chat stuff. And hopefully that helps, because look at that. Look at that fast response. I mean, I was faster than Siri on that. Take that, Siri. Siri couldn't get you an answer faster than prime time on that one. All right, let's see what else we got here. What other questions? Let's see. Yeah, and I try not to be behind in the chat as much as possible. So what I'll do is I'll just fly down to the very end of it, and then I'll fly back up. So I kind of go all over the place. So it's kind of random. So you never know when I might get to the question. Looks like Crispy and Mr. Bislot are working out some deals together. I know they've done a lot of things. Yes, Krista, I know, has wanted to learn a lot about comic books. So Krista, Mad Magazine technically is a comic book magazine. So please check out the deeper dive video that I did last night on making mega money with those magazines. So that was a lot of fun putting that one together. And it's funny because someone had commented, which was a true comment, that, and this just take you a little bit behind the scenes, which is in the beginning of the video, someone had said to me, good video, prime time, but speed up the talking a bit. So, which is a funny comment to get, because right now, as you could see, like, I'm talking very intensely and I'm talking quickly because I have a lot of stuff to say. And that's normally how I talk. But that night, I made that sale late at night, and I just had the idea that night. It was just kind of random. And I said, you know what? I said, I want to actually start filming this now. I did a full day of my work and my regular job at the hospital, and it was just late. It was like literally like midnight. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to start filming it. And just, at that time of night, you're just a little bit slower. And so I probably looked more tired at that point. And then there's other points where I edit myself into the video the following day to do some other sections where I probably look more awake. So that's why you might see that behind the scenes, because to make the content, like, I've got to piece together sometimes clips from all different times of day and try to get all the stuff together. So sometimes it's a challenge, especially for that series, depending on when something sells. Thank you, Tracy, for the compliment on the interviews. I will do them again here and there. It's just kind of going to be situational. So I'm going to be looking to see if anyone put any comments about the possibility for next week's show. Thank you so much, MSG's Toys and Treasures. I think I'm behind. I think I might have seen a super chat coming by from you. So thank you if you did drop one off. I'm going to probably get to it here at some point. No, I'm not holding a New York reseller rally. That might be something that I do at some point. At this point, I really don't think my channel's big enough to justify that. But at some point, and some people look at that and like they laugh and they say, oh, you're just being, fake modest or something. And I'm not. I really don't think it's really that big. If you consider how many videos that I've put out, which is over 900, the subscriber count is low for that. And that's because I really made a lot of mistakes when I started off my channel. I didn't know what the heck I was doing and just started doing it, which is what some people suggest. That's how you should do it. Just start off and just try. And that's what I did. But big mistake I learned from what you see over like the last year, me improving on, I think, is making shorter videos. And I'm so used to, in the academic settings, doing literally, I'm not kidding, 1 to 3 hour presentations on things. Like, that's what we do. In fact, I actually signed up. I'm doing a presentation at the American Academy of Clinical Neuropsychology next June, and it's a 3 hour presentation. Normally it's one person doing it, but we have 3 people together and each of us are taking an hour. The problem is that type of format doesn't work on YouTube. And so I actually just saw someone yesterday commenting on an old video, and I kept the comment up because it wasn't really mean. It was actually true. A person said, you talk an insane amount. And a person said, you have potential, but if you would just stop talking so much and keep it on track more, you'd have more views and subscribers. And I think that's true. I think that's true. And I literally, I said to the person, I said, okay, I said, that's fair point. I said, but now after you said that, I said, go watch my recent videos. Watch those ones, which are mostly 20 minutes or less. A lot more editing has taken place to kind of trim things down. And I said, and this is what I want people who are beginning or maybe haven't started a channel yet to remember. You need room to grow. You need room to grow. You're not going to be able to do this perfectly from the beginning. Or at least most people aren't. I mean, there's some people maybe have a background in communications and they could do really well. And maybe they've had another channel in some other area and then they could take what they learned to resell a reselling channel. But if you're just starting out on YouTube, at least my experience is that you're going to make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, but the key is to try to learn from those mistakes. And will I continue to make mistakes? Of course I will. Everybody will. But you just try to balance them out. And sometimes you just have to admit your things that might be mistakes or might be problems and just say, this is how it is. Like, I can't change. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm an intense person. I'm a loud person. I can modify that somewhat, but if I start, like I said, if I start presenting to you like Bob Ross, that's just not going to work. That's not going to be genuine. And, everyone always says be genuine. So there you go. That's just me, hope most people like it, but we'll see. Where do you send comic books that are signed to get signature verified? CGC said they had to be witnessed at the time of signing. Very, very true. CGC, which is, by the way, the #1 place to get your comic books graded in terms of market desirability. A lot of people think that, oh, wow, I got my comic book signed. Now I could just send it to CGC and they'll verify it. They're not going to do it unless they personally witnessed it. So you wonder, well, how could they personally witness it? Well, they'll actually set up events at big popular conventions where your favorite comic artist or maybe an actor might be, or, when Stan Lee was alive, he would do these, and they'll actually be there and they'll supervise it. Or CGC will sometimes have special events where they'll say, like Todd McFarlane recently, they had Todd McFarlane come to CGC headquarters and they actually witnessed him sign all the books and said, hey, if you want your book signed by him, send it in. Todd McFarlane will sign it and then we'll send it back to you, verified CGC. Where you want to send it, though, would be CBCS. CBCS will do it. CBCS is the second tier for grading comic books. CBCS books will still sell, but they will not sell for as high as a CGC book. And even same thing with the signature ones, because even though CBCS is verifying it, they're verifying it, but it doesn't carry the same weight as a CGC certified signed comic book, because literally what CGC can hang their hat on is we witnessed it. So 100% that when you get a CGC book that it was witnessed. So in fact, I want to actually try to bring something up to show you, because this is this comic book that I just got and I have it in my store. I want to show it to you because it's a good example. I have several signed CGC comic books in my eBay store, but this one is just, wait till you see this one. I have to say it's probably my favorite one. It's not the most expensive one, but oh my God, I just love this one. Hold on, let me get this up. Got it right here. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you. If you like comics, be prepared to drool in just a second here. So hold on. Well, let me get my Chrome tab up. Here we go. Check this out. All right. So this is, look at this. Fantasy Masterpieces #2. So this comes from 1966. And look at this. Right there in the center, that baby was signed by none other than Stan Lee. And that is incredible because you have Fin Fang Foom there, and Fin Fang Foom is the character that was on the first Fantastic Four comic book. And so, Stan Lee's very purposeful about where he signs things. And so that's the reason that he signed it right over there. So I absolutely love this book. It's so cool and has the name of other famous comic artists there, like Steve Ditko and Don Heck. And you'll see up top, whenever you see that yellow label on a CGC book, that means it's part of their signature series that they verified that it was signed, and it'll actually say the date that it was signed. So it'll say they're signed by Stan Lee on 7/18/13. So I just wanted to share that with you because I absolutely just love that comic book. So if anyone wants to see it some more, get another close up, go and check out the be sure and go check out the listing there. You can just search for it in my store. Now I know there were super chats that came in, and I'm trying to look for them. For some reason, they went away or something, and they're not coming up here. I thought there was one from Matt from MSG Treasures, and then I thought there was one from no, oh, sorry, here it is. There's one from Marjorie, 4.99. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't I neglected to say that that was I just didn't realize that that was actually a oh, it's another time she's asking the same question. Reseller Rally in New York, Crispy and Triple V are in the uh she kind of got blocked off a little bit, but thank you so much, Marjorie, the Stuffologist. Thank you, Marjorie. I appreciate that very much. Thanks so much for supporting the channel with the 4.99 super chat. And I think there was one before that from I know Matt will like this. So let me do this for Matt. From none other than Matthew at MSG's Treasures. Matthew, welcome to the dark side, my friend. Thank you for sending all of those private messages throughout the day to keep me busy. Right. So I didn't even read his message before I actually just said that. But Matt's been blowing up my phone with all sorts of messages throughout the day. But Matt, you got to admit, I do write back. I do respond. I might, it might be a little bit of a delay, but I do try to respond as much as possible. So thank you so much, Matt. And thank you, Susan, for putting in the mermaid emojis. So could be. Well, this is kind of a Q&A. Next week's show could be a Q&A as well. That's possible, but I was thinking more like tip sharing, or like for example, like maybe someone says, "Hey, guess what? I a lot of people might not realize this, but if you could pull out ads from old magazines and you could sell the ads and you can make a lot of money from that." Well, a lot of people might just not have thought about that. And then I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if like someone came up with like a tip like that about a certain topic, and then someone else says, "Hey, guess what? I have something like that in my store for sale." And then maybe we could flash up a couple of them and show people's active listings, not a sold listing, an active listing. And maybe it could help people get a sale or something. I mean, it wouldn't be like a cha-chingathon or something, because that could like drag on and on for a while. But could maybe help get some people some exposure. They can maybe email me a link or something. I'll keep like my email open and check for it. And maybe we could share some things. So I don't know. I have lots of ideas about how next week might possibly work, but I think I want to do some kind of like help the members, or help the subscribers, or help people with viewers, with their store somehow. The net said, "I took your advice about taking returns on most items. I was doing no returns, but I'm reluctant to offer returns on vintage clothing. Would you advise otherwise?" It's a personal question, I think, or not personal question, a personal preference on that one with clothing, because depending on what type of clothing you're selling, you could have a pretty high rate of returns. I'd say that's probably one of the areas where your highest rate is. So, there are some people that, don't want to say that they take returns on clothing. But as I always say, and this is true, Nanette, even for vintage clothing, is that there's really no such thing on eBay as a no return policy. They have it technically, but in reality, they will force the return in any situation in which a person says item not as described. So if your person gets a vintage clothing item and says it wasn't as described, and you got to take the return no matter what your policy says. And the problem with that is that now you are exposed to a negative feedback. Whereas if you have free returns and then you accept the return, you complete the return, you have protection from not getting a negative feedback, which is absolutely huge to me. That's why I have free returns on everything. The other thing is that if someone's playing games and messing around and they send you back something damaged, I don't get a lot of returns, but sometimes people will ship me back a collectible, for example, when not protected, and then it get damaged and sent back to me, not in a way that it was I sent, I could take up to 50% off, and I'll take the max 50% off. And then that person will dispute it. And then what eBay will do is they'll pay the buyer the money. They always give in to the buyer. And so they'll pay the buyer out of their pocket, but at least I still get half back. So that's another thing to consider in terms of why I like to have the free return policy. I mean, trust me, if eBay really did have a free return, a no return policy that you could actually stick to, then in some situations that might even make more sense, to advocate for. But because of the reasons I said, that's why I do it the way that I do. Um, could you imitate a mermaid talking underwater? Diana wants me to imitate. I get imitations for voices because of I got to do another do shot here, because of the voice machine that I have. But of a mermaid talking underwater. Let's see. I'm gonna have to totally go off my programmed voices, and let's see. I'm gonna have to experiment a second here. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let's see what I could do. All right, testing. That's a Darth Vader test. Now we gotta get a more feminine voice here. So let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, maybe this will work. Hold on. Yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo, prime time, help me, I'm stuck underwater, save me, prime time, save me. Oh, here you go. Oh, look, I saved her. I got her out of the water, folks. There we go. How was that? Now, someone tried to switch it up to a merman, but I thought for my first try on a mermaid, plus you got kind of like the water effect because my shirt was blue, so it kind of looked like that she was in the water. I think I just lost 10 subscribers. See, now this is what I live for. These laughing emojis when I do something like that, or like Carol Queen putting up the mermaids, or Susan putting up the mermaids, like that kind of, or Eric putting up that kind of reaction. Forget it. You just reinforced like 5 more skits. So, what can I tell you? Victoria's laughing. Oh, by the way, check out Victoria and Trish. They have both got they're both starting. Well, they've been doing it for a little bit. Auctions on their channels. I think that they alternate it, and the days that they do it, I don't remember the exact times, but I was checking it out the other day, and I registered for it. So go check it out. And the thing that I like about Trish, Nana Tink, is that she does a lot of ephemera stuff, for example. And so if you like ephemera, you might pick up some cool things over there. So let me see. I'll mod Victoria if she's not already a mod, and then she could drop the link. So feel free, Victoria, to put your link in there. I run the YouTube channel different from the Facebook group. The Facebook group, I don't have any links added without permission, but this is a much more informal setting in here. And so I allow people who are moderated, who are mods, to drop links. Thanks for 108 people here. We need another show with another skit with action figures. I might have to bust Skeletor out again. So that's true. Re-ask your questions if I haven't gotten to it. That's fine, because I'm going to skip around. Like I said, if I do a show where I'm just going to stick in doing the chat questions like one at a time, I'm never going to get to your question sometimes. So just re-ask it if I don't get to it. So good question on flipping to feed our family. Do you have an ambition to do this full time? Yes, I do. People think that's crazy sometimes when they know what my regular job is, but when I say that, I mean when I retire. So when I retire, this is just what I want to do full time. It doesn't make sense for me to leave my regular job at the hospital because it provides me with a good degree of financial security, which is especially important in this day and age. So I definitely want to keep that. And I've been there for 16 years. I'm vested in the retirement program. And so it really doesn't make any financial sense for me to leave. It is one of the things that does frustrate me, though. It hampers my growth reselling wise, because I just can't put as much time into it as I would want to if I was obviously working full time. But that's true for everybody who's doing this part time. I'm sure, you'd rather, find that extra time where you could, where you could put it in there. But, that's just how it is for now. In the future, hopefully, that door will open up. So we'll see what happens. Oh, and we got a new member here. A new member has joined, the one and only TC Collectibles. Thank you so much for joining. And by the way, for the people watching, if you like this show, I do a show like this, which is just for people who are at the prime time platinum and priority level. I do a live show once a month with them. It's a very narrow group of people, small group, say about 19, 20 people or so. But we have a lot of fun. A lot of those people are here in the chat, and they don't want anyone else to join it because they want all that personal time to themselves. So, but we do that last Sunday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's a lot of fun, and thanks for those who are subscribers at that level. Does it make James Zuva, does it make sense to offer free returns though if you're a low volume reseller? Sure. I mean, it depends what you mean by low volume. I mean, I guess I'm a low volume reseller. I mean, depends on how you want to define. That's all relative, low volume. Like, for example, everyone in the chat here is a low volume reseller compared to Mr. Buys a Lot. The guy's got I don't even remember how many listings. I think it's like 180,000 listings on eBay. So but if I have, let's say 700 listings and you have 100, you might look at me and say I'm a high volume reseller. So it's all relative. To me, the free return policy has nothing to do with how many items you have for sale. Remember, free return, there's a reason from a customer service perspective for free returns. From a customer service perspective, free returns provides the customer with consumer confidence. That's crucial because the customer could say, now assuming it's an honest customer, right? Honest customers say, okay, this person offers free returns on this item. This person doesn't. I'm concerned about whether I'll like it or not. Well, I'm more comfortable buying from the person who offers free returns because I know if it doesn't meet what I'm looking for, then I can return it. Now, you could do a lot of things on your end to prevent that. The two main things to preventing returns are accurate pictures and accurate descriptions. If you're if you want to be a high volume seller and you just want to, in your description section, write Mountain Dew glass, and that's it, and that's all you want to say, but inside there might be a hairline crack and you don't mention that, that's the trade-off that you are accepting. You're accepting more listings with fewer descriptive details. That's going to increase the chance that you're going to get returns. So it's really, to me, I don't think it matters whether or not it's high volume or low volume. As long as you have good processes in place to limit returns, you should not have that many returns. Period. If you're doing the proper things to protect yourself. Now, the one thing I will say though, to qualify that, is that if you're not setting things up properly and you are truly let's say you have less than 100 items up, I guess I'll say that's low volume, right? If you start getting a bunch of returns, that's going to look bad when you get evaluated for your seller, your seller ratings, because it's going to look like a high amount of defects compared to how many items you actually have. So I think once it goes over, once your defect rating goes your return percentage goes over 3% of what you actually have listed, then or what you sold, that's where it starts to become a problem, and you could get downgraded. So you want to be careful about that. So in that sense, yes, you need to be careful. Looks like we have another member who has joined up, and we'll do maybe a little we'll do a little different voice for Pam Hennig is in the house. Thank thank you so much, Pam, for joining and becoming a member. I have another Pamela in my life. Thank you very much. I have many Pams in my life, so you are added to the Pam family. Thank you so much for becoming a Pam Primetimer. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of the support. Eric would like to go full-time, been in his job for 30 years, not old enough to retire from that job. Yeah, at my job, I can retire. And this is going to be the big decision for me, folks. I'm 9 years away from being there 25 years. And at that point, I could technically retire. I'm 14 years away from 30 years. At 30 years, I get the maximal benefits, maximal retirement benefits. And obviously it's less than if I leave at 9 years, but it's possible I could run the numbers in 9 years and say, okay, how much am I missing out and how much can I make up with that with the reselling? Now, I don't know. I don't want to be, the other thing I'm very mindful of, folks, is life is so damn short. It's so short. I'm having people who are, my age who are already passing away. And I remember my dad, who worked so hard. He was one of the vice presidents of Merrill Lynch. And he was looking so much forward to what he called the golden years. And then right before the time he was supposed to retire, he got diagnosed with esophageal cancer. And that was it. And I remember looking at him in the hospital, and he looked at me and he just said, he was just mortified because he always wanted to have control over everything. And this was a situation he just had no control over. It was just, things are just unraveling so fast. It was crazy. And I remember him just looking at me at one point and he just said, I'm never going to get to enjoy the golden years. Never. And that's kind of haunted me ever since then. I've always thought about that. And I'm like, I don't want that to happen to me. So I don't know, like, will I take a sacrifice in retirement pay to enjoy more private or personal time? I don't know. We'll have to see, but I'm always striving to try to make that proper balance. I may have missed a super chat earlier. I could have sworn that I saw one come up and I didn't quite get to it. So I'm going to go back up and peek to see if I could find. No, I think that might have been Diana's, unless there was one above. Oh, Jeff, where's my Mountain Dew bottle? Darn it. Yeah, Jeff, hold on. I'm going to text Mrs. Primetime right here. Where are those Mountain Dew? I cleaned them out. Oh, wait a minute. I have them, Jeff. Hold on. So Jeff from the storage unit videos, he reached out to me. He bought a big collection of bottles, and I went to the flea market and I bought them from him. So hold on. I actually have them right here. Let me grab them. All right, here we go. And I did clean them out, so I technically can drink from them. Let me get my headphones back on here. So here we go. So here's the first one. I love this one. And it has the original cap on it. Look at that. That's really cool. It's nice and embossed. I really love this one. So I got this one for $10 from Jeff. So he had valued this at about a $20 bottle, which I think is correct. So I've cleaned it out and everything. And then he had another one here, which is a little bit older. But the thing I love about this one is it has the Mountain Dew guy on it here. So look at that. I love that. There he is. That's so cool. Look at that 10-ounce bottle. And then on the other side, it's got the phrase that'll tickle your innards. So I love that. So thank you, Jeff. I do have it. And next time, maybe I'll pour some in there and drink from it. Question from TW Squared. Is it necessary to bag and board comics to sell them efficiently? My opinion, yes. I mean, because you have to have your comics protected. And there's no better way to protect them than putting them in a bag and a board. let's see here. Let me grab a comic. It's just a random comic that I have here. But so this is your standard bag. I get them all from BCW. And this is the board behind it, for those of you who are not familiar with the term bagging and boarding. Another tip, by the way, when dealing with comic books, and Jeff knows this, is that you see we got this tape here. Make sure you take the tape off before you take the comic out, because if not, you'll catch the comic book on the tape and then you'll damage it. So take this out right here. But here's your bag, here's your board. So they have different sizes. They have modern age ones, silver age, golden age, magazine size ones. I even shipped out a book today, a Halloween book that I sold for like 30 bucks. I put it in here. So I use them for other things. I use them for posters. The board from BCW is nice and firm. It's firm enough that it'll give you a nice protection on it. There's other boards out there that are real flimsy. So BCW is what I use. The advantage too is that I tell people in the ads that all the comics and magazines I sell come bagged and boarded. People love that because they say, great, I don't have to put it in a bag and board. Also, it protects it when you're shipping it. So that's also really important. I would advise against trying to stuff multiple comics in one bag and board to try to save money. Not worth it. Your customer will love you for it. Just put them in separate bags and boards. So that's an approach that I use for all comics that I sell, except if it was like a damaged comic lot, for example, then I wouldn't do that because they're already damaged. The people are just getting it for crafting, so they don't need them bagged and boarded. So that's why. Let's see here. What else have we got? I'm trying to look and see if I missed a super chat. I may have. Retro Junk 87's in the house. He loves CGC. He even started sending his Pokemon cards to them. Yes. That's a good point. They are grading cards now, so you could send things off to them. So now the problem now on this is not unique to CGC. It is happening with a lot of companies, even card grading companies. They've been getting so many submissions that it just takes so long to get stuff back. So unless it's some rare instance where I'm 100% confident in the grade that I'm going to get from the comic, and it's really going to add like a massive amount of value, then only then is it worth it for me to send the comic book out to be graded. So, really has to be a very specific situation. A lot of comic books that I get, I already bought them. They've already been graded. So I already buy them graded. So it just saves me a lot of time. Comic-Con New York City is in person again this year. I've always wanted to go to that. Maybe sometime I will. I don't know about this year. Let's see. A rally would grow your channel bigger. We would all spread the word. That's nice of you, Eric. Thanks so much. That's a good idea. I might do it. The thing is, I really still want to wait until COVID settles down, especially with the Delta variant and everything. I really just want to wait until things are more under control. So, it's something I'm thinking about, but I also still want the channel to get a little bit bigger. I'm still not really where I want to be. I'm actually still a little bit behind in terms of what my goal was for the channel this year, which was I wanted to try to get to 40,000 subscribers. It's not looking like that's going to happen. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Too far for me. Can I do a virtual? Well, I don't know. If I do one at some point, which, I'm sure will happen one day. Yeah, maybe we could incorporate some virtual element to it. Yeah, like Matt says, he likes watching long videos because he usually likes to listen to long videos while I'm driving. It's true because, a lot of people talk about YouTube shorts, and it's funny because I don't just watch reselling YouTube channels. I watch non-reselling ones, and there's a great YouTube channel called Think Media, and they're all about helping you get better on YouTube. And one of the things they talked about was a poll recently that they did in which they asked people, what feature on YouTube would you get rid of immediately if you could? And they put all these different selections like comments in the chat, the thumbs up button, the thumbs down button, let's see, shorts and other things. And by far and away, like it wasn't even close. 65% of people pick shorts because they really don't want YouTube turning into TikTok. And I haven't made shorts. I'm not criticizing anyone who does, and I'm not saying that I won't ever do them. I'm just saying right now I haven't because the point a lot of people make is that YouTube really was developed for longer form content. And personally, I'm the same way, Matt. Like I like if I'm going to be doing a lot of shipping, I like putting on a show that I could just kick back and listen to for a good at least 15, 20 minutes. And if it's even longer, then I'm cool with that too. So, yes. So Heather is the one exception. I think. I don't know anyone else who's like that, but and I'm honored by this exception that Heather likes when I have videos that are 20 minutes or longer. And so the only thing I could say to that is that the only way to get I guess extra time would be but this is a membership that is a membership thing where I do the kind of like an extra show. I do an extra show like this, and that's like actually I usually do that for like several hours. We've been on as long as 3 hours, but now that's becoming more like a 2-hour show. So and I'm not sure how much longer I'll go tonight, but I'm having a lot of fun with all of you. I'm going to try to get to as many questions still as I can. Dayton Valley Deal says she has lots of room for growth. If I missed your super chat, please let me know so I could shout you out because I could have sworn there was another one that came in and maybe I missed it. So in fact, let me go. I'm going to go into my YouTube right now and see if I missed somebody because it tells me who sent super chats. So, and I think it updates it pretty closely. So I just don't like missing anyone who sent something like that. So, let's see. Hang on a second. I'm just going to take a quick peek here. And I might be wrong. I might not have missed somebody, but maybe I did. Here we go. Supers. No, I didn't miss anybody. Awesome. Okay, good. I feel better about that now. See? By the way, for those of you who like Bob Ross, go check out what? Do you want to say something? All right, go ahead. Go check out my special on Netflix so you can learn more about my past and my history. It's a lot of fun, folks. It is really good. Check it out. The Bob Ross documentary on Netflix. It just came out last week. It's about an hour and a half. Highly recommend it. It's a great show. And don't worry, your image of Bob Ross will not be tarnished from watching it. He's a great guy. It's really more about some bad stuff that happened to Bob and how he was victimized allegedly by a company who has his namesake. So check it out. What's up? Treasure Coast Picker, Scott in the house. Oh, thank you very much. Bargain in the burbs. Mia now. I got two Mias. I have Mama Mia and I have Mia Bolin Tudor. Like that name. Comic Master. I will take that. I am not the Comic Master, but I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do I think the reseller community, by the way, credit to James Zuva for busting out the questions tonight, taking advantage of pure prime time. Do you think the reseller community gets unfair criticism for basically just being out there to profit for themselves and milking unknowing customers and sources? Yes, I do. I'm obviously biased about that opinion, but I do think it's unfair criticism. A lot of people who say that don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes. So, for example, when I go to an estate sale and the estate sale dealers are liquidating stuff and they're selling stuff for cheap that I could flip for a good price, there's a key word I just said. They're liquidating. They're liquidating. Their job is to get stuff moved out. Goodwill. Let's take thrift stores, for example. They are so overwhelmed with donations from COVID that, I mean, they're overflowing in most places. So they can't wait to get the stuff out. Do you realize how, and it's just a rhetorical question, I'm not saying it to you, James, but do you realize how much how many programs resellers have funded for homeless people and people who need the help of Goodwill, people with disabilities, by going in there and shopping? The notion that the thing that I hear is gentrification of thrift stores, that, resellers are going in and they're helping, they're driving up the prices so people can't afford the stuff that's at thrift stores. There's still stuff in thrift stores that people could afford to buy who need to go in and buy it on a budget, especially compared to a regular, department store. Sure, have prices gone up in certain areas in thrift stores? Yeah, they have. And you know what? Here's another thing to consider. Think about this. Okay. Thrift stores have learned some things from resellers. They saw the videos, they see the stuff on YouTube, they see how much money people are making from getting stuff at thrift stores and flipping it. So what did they do? They started hiring people. They started hiring people to sift through items. They started shop Goodwill, auction setting. Okay. So they're taking items that they're screening, and some of those items they're selling for tens of thousands of dollars or more. So, you don't hear that much criticism of that. I mean, then they're the company. I mean, that's Goodwill. But they're using, a lot of those things they're using to, for good purposes. I mean, yeah, there's money that goes to CEOs and all that kind of stuff, but in the end, I mean, there are a lot of good programs and stuff that are supported by doing that. So, and at the end of the day, listen, no one forced someone to sell anything to anybody. You ask someone how much something costs, they tell you. You either like the price or you don't. You can negotiate or you can't. It's up to that person to sell it. So, that person either put an ad somewhere saying they're having a garage sale, they chose the item, they put it out, they put a price on it, they sold it. Now, if I have more knowledge than someone about an item, like let's say a Mad Magazine issue, and I know that it's really valuable and that person doesn't, that's not my fault. Am I supposed to be penalized for that? That I took the time, that I did the research, that I watched the videos, that I read the books, that I have the knowledge about that? Should I be penalized for that in some way? Like, why is that a negative? So, I don't see anything wrong with that. So, but again, that's just my opinion. So people could differ. What would you, Linda by Norman, what place would you send number 76 Green Lantern books in great condition? Well, if you're talking about getting things graded, again, number one is CGC. That's what the market demands. That's what the market wants. It's clearly established at this point. No one's even close to breaking that. So until further notice, you should send comic books that you want to be graded to CGC. Let's see. Saw some people liked the. Oh, thank you. Victoria came over because she saw that we were multi-streaming into the Facebook group. Yep. Again, if you're not a member of the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, please go by and check out Willie's new and vintage resale. Okay, this is perfect, Willie, for next week. Next week, stay tuned because I will be having a show likely that is focused on this kind of thing. But what I would say, Willie, is did you take part in my listing challenge in the Facebook group, and did you complete it? Again, this is one of the benefits of being in the Facebook group, and it doesn't cost anything to be in there. We had a challenge. I do this challenge every other month, and I set it up differently each month, but the challenge and I would challenge you to do this month if you're having slow sales, is the first week, make sure you add one listing a day, at least one. The second week, 2 a day. The third week, 3 a day. The fourth week, 4 a day. I cannot tell you how many people who did that challenge wrote in. You could see the comments yourself in the Facebook group right now. It's in the announcement section. Said that they could not believe how much that helped increase their sales. So that is definitely important. I would encourage you to do that if you haven't done that yet. Let's see. I got a text. Who's that? Okay, that's my daughter. So I'll have to get back to her after showtime. May as well stand up by offering for returns. Yep, Travis is saying the same thing I'm saying with returns. Let's see what else here. And as Matt was telling me the other day, this I have to say this is crazy. If you get this, if you list an item as is and you say it's not working and you say it's for parts and the buyer gets it and they didn't read it even though you have it in the title and you have it in the description and they want to return, eBay forces the return. That is so stupid. It's just so stupid. Come on, eBay on that one. Come on. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. I mean, at some point, you have to hold buyers responsible for reading the listing. I could see if it was snuck in like small font on the bottom, but if it's in all caps in the title and in the listing and it says it's for parts and it's as is and it might not work and you get it and you return it because it doesn't work. No, I like that. Now, let me flip this around for a second on sellers because I'm going to try to be balanced on this, okay? Because here's one thing I don't like seeing when I go through listings, when I do electronics. When I see that someone has put up an item and it says it's an electronic item and you say not tested, yet it was very easy to test. All you had to do was put AA batteries in there. I don't think you should do that because it's so easy to test. I mean, I understand if it's like a very complicated piece of electronics and you can't test it. And the reason I say that is because, and be wary of this as a buyer, most of the time, not tested really means I tested it, it doesn't work, I don't want to say that, and so I'm saying it's untested. That's what untested usually means. Not always, but that's what it usually means. So that's a way to, by the way, decrease returns. Like, don't even say untested if you could easily test it. And if you could test it and it doesn't work, you could sell it for parts. But sometimes people don't like that. They try to get like a higher price than a for parts price by, saying, well, it's not tested. But, again, if you say it's not tested as is, but it doesn't work. See, the problem I have with that is that if it really is something that you could not test and you just didn't know, and you're being honest about that, and you say, listen, look, I don't know. You're taking a risk, okay? And they really are taking a risk. They're taking a risk. They know they're taking a risk. To me, that's fair. But if the buyer thinks they're buying it for a little bit of a lower price, if it 100% did work because they're taking a risk, but 100% as a seller that it doesn't work, that becomes an ethical issue for me, and I wouldn't do that. So just be honest. That's my thing. Yeah, Matt's talking about what I was saying. And thank you, by the way, let me go to the bottom here. Thank you so much to Lori Gonzalez. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, see, Lori said she's selling so much ever since doing the challenges. So, why is it so difficult to get things graded? What do you mean, Dan? I don't know what you mean. Do you mean that it takes so long? They have such a high volume of submissions. That's the problem. Let's see. We got Cha-Cha in the house. What's going on, Cha-Cha? I always say this. It's one of my favorite names. I just love saying that. So I love when she comes in. The Junkin' Data Girl. Check out her YouTube channel. She also does auctions as well. There's so many people who do auctions, so go check it out. And Victoria agrees with me. I'm not sure what she agrees with, but thank you so much. What software do I use to track sales, cost, profit, etc.? I'm old school. I use Microsoft Excel. And I've talked to my accountant about that many times. I always ask him, I say, should I get one of these things, these fancy schmancy programs? And he says, it doesn't matter. He says, just as long as the data is in there is accurate, that's all I care about. So whatever's more comfortable for you. If you want something automated, then don't do Excel. Get something like GoDaddy. But I actually have on my channel, and still valid today, go to my channel, go to the playlist section, and go to the section on taxes and accounting, and you'll see I do a review, and I go over like the different programs and the positives and the negatives. When are we going to get a metal detecting video? Good question. I have I have thought about that many times, and every time I just got to make the time. It's one of those things I just got to make the time for. I think my concern is I'm going to go out, do a metal detecting video, and I'm just going to find bottle caps and coins. In fact, I actually had sitting around here a coin from metal detecting that was like an old dusty nickel. Where the heck did it go? I don't know where it went, but I just had it like in my hands like a couple moments ago. Like I still have my metal detecting coins, but I don't know. Maybe I'll surprise you one day, but it does pop into my head every once in a while. Should I watch my? No, you don't need to watch your painting mountain videos first. I need to get another dew swig here, so hold on. Dew shot time. Dew shot time. I love it. All right, let's see. Thanks so much, by the way, everyone joining tonight. Mr. Bizot went to bed early, said Dom is the best. Thank you. Appreciate that. Can I sell what I make from damaged comics? I heard mixed things. I'm not sure what you make, but you can definitely sell damaged comics. I have several videos about that. I take damaged comic books, I put them in big lots. I put them on auction. I start them at $9.99. I just see what happens. Recently sold a bunch of damaged comic books for $185. Literally stuff that would go in the trash. Now, I should have actually gotten more for it because originally I got $315, but the person didn't pay. So then it wasn't as new and exciting for people when I put it up a second time. So I got $185 off of it. Now you'll get more from damaged comics if they're vintage. If they're more modern comics, you won't get as much. You'll still sell them. Definitely in the top, put crafting in the title because that helps. In fact, when I go to comic conventions, and I've shown this in some of my videos when I go to comic conventions, I have one coming up again that I might take people to, but you'll see people who set up crafting booths, like they'll take plates and cups and all sorts of things, and they take comic strips and they decoupage the strips around the items, and they sell them, and they make good money for them. So, let's see. Is there a name for the not so sticky tape you use? You're probably referencing yesterday's video I was talking about. I love Tape King. I've done a video on Tape King. It's harder to find now, but you still could find it on Amazon. So Tape King is my preference. And then the other one that I used when I couldn't find Tape King was, just hang on a second. I got to go to my Amazon account and I'll tell you the name of it in just a second. Orders, tape. Now the next one I'm going to say is not as good, but it's called Suremax, SURE-MAX. It's definitely not as good quality, but it doesn't stick. When I say it doesn't stick, it sticks enough to get a good seal, but it doesn't when you're putting it on board, like bags and boards, for comics. It doesn't like leave like a residue behind. I had several comments to yesterday's video. A couple people telling me use painter's tape. I hate painter's tape. I hate it. It's too thin. It's too flimsy. I don't like it at all. It's not as wide as the 3-inch tape that I like to use that really grips all those magazines together and compresses it down nicely, gives it that nice seal. So I love it. So it's a matter of preference and opinion. If you love painter's tape, go ahead and use it, but it's just not my thing. I do have a supplier of sorts. I have a wholesale person who I go to, Travis, who basically gives me all of my deals on comic books and bags and boards all at once. So once I factor in the deals I'm getting on the comics, it really becomes like I'm almost getting the bags and boards for free. So they come in packs of 100. So I just take a look at my inventory. I have things in columns. I have my modern bags and boards, my silvers, my golden age, and then my magazine ones, and I have bigger bags and boards right down in this area where I do all my shipping. So I just take a look at it, and anytime I'm running short, I'll just buy like another 100 or 200 bags and boards. But I'd get a pretty good price on it. You could go on Amazon and get them for a pretty, decent price as well. So, if you want, try to use things like credit or um, gift card balance or something like that. Like I have an Amazon credit card. And by the way, if you don't know this, if you have a Discover card as well, you could set up your Discover card so that you get points on Amazon. So, set that up so you could discount those points off of your purchases. So I like to use those points because it's basically like free money in a way. So I feel like when I use all those points off of my shipping supplies, I feel like I'm kind of getting free items. That's how I look at it. It's just mental manipulation. I worry about the same thing, Tom. We can't take our retirement money with us when we are gone. Exactly. That's so true. So true. Life's short, folks. My dad retired early. This is Linda, because his health went down super fast, and he said every day he wished he got out sooner. Very man, that's deep stuff, Linda. I totally agree with that. That's why reselling is so appealing to so many people, because they, from their regular jobs, because they want to get out from under it, and they want to have more independence and they want more freedom, and they want to be in charge of things. So, very good point there. Travis, yeah, maybe we'll go on tour together. Dom, you won on Flip Finds Fun Challenge. I did? Huh. I didn't know that. I'll have to go check that out. Thank you, Angie, from Do the Do Shot. I did another Do Shot. I don't know if you want me to do another one. I'm just catching up with some old comments. For the love of God, retire. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks. I listen, let me tell you, because I work for the state, okay? If I was approached tomorrow and I was told, listen, we'll make you a special deal. You could retire tomorrow. We want to save money. Just take your retirement early. I would do it. I would do it. And I would just do the reselling. So, I like what I do and stuff, but at the same time, I've done it enough, and I'm totally fine at this point with moving on to doing the reselling stuff. Let's see. Try to get to a few more questions. Yes, Nanette. I was actually kind of referencing this earlier. She said, I would like tips for ephemera next time. I have many old magazines in bad condition, perhaps selling full page edge or several clippings bundled. Yes. That is a big seller. Definitely do that. You can make a lot of money in those old magazines. Just try to pick out the ones that are the best ads. Yes, for sure. All right. Let me catch up here at the go back to the end here and see, did I miss anything else? Yeah, near Woodstock. Eric, I was just watching a documentary on Woodstock on PBS, and it was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating how that all went down. If you haven't checked it out, I didn't notice too. PBS, if you like learning educational stuff, PBS has an app, and you could download it and check out all their cool documentaries. I love documentaries. I search out documentaries, so I think it's really cool. Yeah, They are going up again, because especially the boards, like Jeff mentions, because the pulp price is jumping up because of pandemic restrictions. It's just harder and harder to find supplies. Like I just had normal repair done on my, well, not really even, well, like brought my car in for like a, oil change the other day and just needed like a couple things tuned up, which I got tuned up. It was simple, but I heard the guy talking, who worked there, who does like customer service, and he's telling people, he's like, listen, it used to be I could order parts and the parts are in the next day. He goes, now we're talking 2 to 3 weeks on parts. So it's just crazy. Like, just so many things have changed. Thank you so much, Bruce, for coming in. Um, if you're near Maryland, if you're in Maryland, Frank, oh my God, I'm so jealous because there's a lot of Civil War stuff in Maryland to metal detect. And I don't know if you know or have followed. He's one of my inspirations on YouTube and just in general as a treasure hunter. Um, Bo Oamet from the Aqua Chigger YouTube channel. You should definitely check that out. It's an amazing channel and learn a lot of cool stuff. Um, hold on. Getting a message from my producer. So I'm gonna be signing off soon. I'm just gonna get to a couple last questions. Let's see here. I've enjoyed this show a lot. I enjoy everyone coming by. It means a lot to me when we could crack 100 people. What didn't you put in the condition so they cover it? I'm not sure if that's to me. I don't remember the context of that one. Maybe I could remember. Hey, Marissa. Hey, Dom. I just had my shed delivered in upstate New York. Any tips for finishing it off for our weather fluctuations as a seasoned shed owner? Well, when I got mine installed, if you look in my shed videos, you'll see that there's a silver lining inside of it, and that silver lining helps to insulate it. It helps to take down the temperature about 20 degrees in the summertime. And I've noticed that's actually helped keep it at a decent temperature even in the winter time. So I would recommend that silver lining that goes on it. Maybe try to get that installed. I think you could get it like Lowe's or something, but I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But the name is pretty visible in any of my shed videos. You could just see it on the wall there. Also, try to position it in a place where there, if you can, where there is some type of shade, because that will help give some protection from the from the sun and stuff. So, um, and just gotta be careful depending on what the temperature fluctuations are in there, what kind of stuff you store in there. So you do have to be careful with paper items if you're getting a lot of moisture buildup in your shed. Fortunately, I do not. I was worried about that. I don't, but ah, okay. Great question. Great question. And I actually have some right here to answer this. Hold on. How do you learn to grade comics so you recognize value? Simple answer to this. This is what you want to get. This is the definitive book, The Guide to Grading Comics, with none other than Catwoman on there. What's up, Catwoman? You definitely got to check this out, okay? This book is amazing. I have a link to it. It's by Overstreet. It's in the description section of my video. Go check it out. It's an affiliate link. Helps the channel out if you get it through there. But just as an example, you could see here, we've got all the grades up top. So you see fine, and it gives all different examples of what kind of flaws in the book would cause it to be in that condition. And it also goes over very specific criteria that you can look at. So the combination of the specific criteria with the photos are huge to help you out. This is the newest version that came out. It's the 6th edition. I have the 5th edition, 6th edition. Either one you get, you should be fine, but I would just get the most updated one, which is 6th. So definitely check that out. Let's see. Yes, very good book. So I think with that, it's been a lot of fun tonight, folks. Oh, the auction professor. It was Don here. Where's Don? Oh, there's Don. What's up, Don? The auction professor in the house. I was just talking to him recently. In fact, just today, as a matter of fact. So sales are rocking right now with fourth quarter just around the corner. List, list, list. Oh, and list. I was actually just saying that to someone who was saying they were having slow sales. To Willie, make sure you're listing more stuff and list stuff that actually sells. That's real important. So thanks, Don, for stopping by. And I'm sure Don would also agree on the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comic Books. That book is, I mean, I can't tell you enough about that book. That is just absolutely incredible. Yard Sale and Dreams likes documentaries too. I'm late, but caught a few minutes of the show. Definitely check out the beginning of it. It's been a very fun night as well. As a as a member, do we get to see Mrs. Primetime? Well, sort of, not really. Not in full view, but you do get to usually see part of her. Usually her arm or hand will come in when she hands Daisy over to me. Daisy usually makes an appearance, unless she might be watching a movie like with my son at the same time that we're doing the show. Then they might not want to interrupt it to come down. That's what happened last time. But usually there's part of Mrs. Primetime that does make an appearance. Crispy has met her, Mrs. Primetime, in person. Crispy Toys and Treasures, and a handful of other people have met her as well. But yes, so she does really exist. It's true. Cat depends on the status. It depends on the condition of the magazine. If the magazine is in and of itself has good comps on and will sell well, sell the magazine. But if you think and if you have the time and the patience to piece out lots of good ads that you've comped as well, then sell the ads. It really just depends. It just totally depends on the book. And yes, Don is very much into Ephemera, as am I, and we just have an absolute blast selling Ephemera. It's definitely my, like one of my top areas, like besides comic books. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm glad people like the show. Glad we got to 100 likes. I know everyone's got to go. Thank you so much for all the compliments. Before COVID, did you go? Oh yeah, I have on my channel comic conventions. I love comic conventions. So oh my God, I absolutely love them. So yes, I will continue going to them. So thank you. That's a good point, Don. If they would have taken the same comic and show like one of them throughout the same book, yeah. Actually, they do that for cards. Like eBay has that. If you go and look at like their standards for cards, they have like a link to showing that and showing. And I think PSA does. Maybe I'm thinking of PSA, but there's one of them that has card grading standards where they take the same card and they show it like across all the different grades. So anyway, all right, everyone. Thanks so much for coming by tonight. Oh, and Jeff has met Mrs. Primetime too. So yes, she does exist. So thank you very much. Thanks, Triple V. And next week, what do I have going on next week? Just for hold on. Oh yeah, next week is the helping out sellers show. So and Buffalo Picker is going to be coming on. He's going to be doing his next contestant. He's going to be coming in for his Sweet 16 battle against the Nurse Flipper for the thrift battle, and that's going to be. I have that date here. The return of Buffalo Picker. That's going to be on September 22nd at 9 p.m. So definitely check that out. And thank you so much, Buffalo Picker. Thanks, Buffalo Picker. Appreciate it, man. Tommy's awesome. Go check out Tommy's channel. He's a great guy. Love him. And he got me into doing some retail arbitrage this year. So I appreciate all that. That's what I mean. There's something to learn from everybody. So stand by. I'll make announcements about next week's show and what's going to go on. And cool. I got someone to download the PBS app. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. See you at the next one. Take care.